I wanted you to ask me to stay.
So goodbye, please
Will you
don't
stay?
go. We both know I'm not what you need, and
She did
will
stay.
always love
We
you.
got our happy ending.
I will always
I only
love
wish it could have lasted forever.
you.
Um, this episode was so good.
Oh, I'm glad you liked it.
Um, Gonna go right into this all post-mortem because
Okay.
Lala and Gibbs get together in the most rom-com way, with him running to her door as one of the most romantic songs plays. But let's start with what made Lala willing to put herself out there again by telling Gibbs she wanted him to ask her to stay.
I think she's just unafraid to put her heart on her sleeve. I think, especially when it comes to Gibbs, she's so willing to go the extra mile with him. I think a lot of that has to do with how much she knows him. She knows the kind of pain he's been through. Um, and I think she just isn't afraid to act on her feelings and the love that she feels for Gibbs. And you see that so evidently in this last scene. Even then, even after giving him so many chances to confess his feelings, she decides, you know what? I can't do this. I can't really go through with this.
Season 1 finale, almost kiss in the pool. Season 2 dream, Lala wakes before they can actually kiss. Here it finally happens. What made this the first kiss that they needed to have?
What made this the first kiss? I mean, because because of everything happening at NCIS or at NIS and the possibility of the office shutting down, this really with everything that's happened to her and her love for Manny and getting that ripped away, I think she really starts to question what her purpose in life is, especially after surviving such an intense accident. So this is it. She's going to start over. She's going to leave NIS. And when I imagine that she has her card packed. She's ready to go. She was going to go and see Manny, probably show up on his front doorstep. And then when she's really driving out of San Diego, she realizes like there is that feeling inside of her that is telling her, no, you're making a mistake. Go back. There's a bigger love that you've never explored. And so I think these past three or two seasons, we've seen this whole will they, won't they? And finally, it just comes to this climax of like, this was the moment. This was the time.
Would Lala have closed the door on her and Gibbs if he had said anything else or more than asking her to say, like, say if he had made it about the team or something like that? Do you think that would have been like the nail in the coffin for her to say, like, I
Oh,
can't?
yeah, no, goodbye. Goodbye. No, I think, yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, Austin will argue otherwise, of course, for his character, but I have to argue for Lala. And I mean, she's made it so obvious for him. And I think this is the final, toss up. It's like here in front of him, like, please, just I wanted you to ask me to stay. And so, of course, he does.
Talk about filming that last scene with Austin.
Oh, I mean, it was very nerve-wracking for me, and I think for all of the crew, because, you know, we never knew when it was going to happen. We knew it would happen eventually, but we didn't know, and it just kind of kept getting kicked to the next episode and then the next season. And so to finally have the moment and to even read on the script, like, you know, Lala and Gibbs kiss is, I mean, it felt like the first day of school again. It was like, oh my God, here it is, all this pressure, and it's gonna amount to this. And we wanted to make it so perfect for for not only our characters, but for the fans. We know that everyone's kind of been waiting for this moment. And so for it to be a true romantic Hollywood ending felt kind of perfect.
The thing is that, like you said, like Lala was like on her way out. She was leaving. But like, could
Yeah.
she really have left and stayed away from like now NCIS by the end of this episode, given that like if she had went to this small town sheriff, it still would have been starting over. And like, that's not easy for a woman to do in the 90s, even if she was leading everything there.
Totally, but I think for Lala, it sure, I think the impetus was that NIS was shutting down, but really it's about Gibbs. It's about knowing that he's closed the chapter on his love life because when we left her the episode before in 17, she comes to his house, she brings a bottle of whiskey, and she kind of opens up the question, like what will you do now? And he says, I think I'm not doing relationships ever again. And so I think it's equally about NIS shutting down. Yes, she would start over again, but she would at least start over in a town with a man who is willing to love her and start a life with her. And I think part of her leaving uh, Camp Pendleton is that there is no possibility with Gibbs. So being at work with him is just a reminder of, oh, this will never go anywhere.
I do have to say though, I love Lala's friendships with Randy and Frank's, what we've gotten. Because I mean,
Yeah,
Lala and Randy is just so sweet. And then that really sweet moment we got with her and Frank's by the copier about Manny was like
I
almost
know.
unexpected, but it was nice. But like, so that would have been the hardest part then for also to leave them, right? Because that's her team before Gibbs
Oh,
arrived.
totally. It's leaving her family. It's leaving her family, the people that she's come to love and trust so much. I think Frank's is a huge reason why Lala is the kind of leader she is, the kind of agent she is. Um, Mary Jo, Vera, I think leaving everyone would be really hard. But I also think that she wants to be loved and she wants to love. And I think she also dreams about a life in which it's not just about the job. I think, yeah, being in a small town, like Gibb says, you might have a tough day getting a cat out of the tree, but I think there's part of Lala that understands that's not the most important thing. You shouldn't just be married to your job, and she sees what it's done to Frank's and his relationships. She sees what it does to Gibbs, and I know that she feels like there's something other than just the job.
You said that loving someone like Gibbs isn't simple, and them being together for however long it is, given what we know about canon, like that's not going to change that. So, like, how much has Lala thought that through the after this kiss app? Like, what comes next? How much has she thought that through at this point?
Nothing, nothing, nothing. It's like anyone that's ever fallen in love with someone that they know is just not going to end well. You don't think about it, you just feel it. And that's probably going to come back to bite her in the ass. But I mean, come on. It doesn't matter. It feels so good.
Uh, Going back to Lala and Randy's friendship, because now we know that SUV that was like, what's going on, was actually following Randy. And while Gibbs and Lala are having their big romantic moment, Randy is being kidnapped.
Yes.
How do you think Lala is going to react to that?
Oh my gosh. Just absolutely feral. I think Randy is like a little brother to Lala. She wants to constantly protect him, but also trusts him the most. And um, yeah, I mean, this is going to be an insane expedition for season three. I think what he means to everyone in the office is a lot. But for Lala, I think she'll stop at nothing to find who it is and also to get revenge.
Besides that last scene, what was, in your opinion, the most meaningful Lala and Gibbs scene this season?
You know, we both said when we were done shooting the scene in the last episode. So when he is working on he's in the shed where the boat is and he's adding another rule to the rule box. And I come in and I kind of I just am like, I know that you would have talked to Diane in situations like this, and I'm here, and kind of just that was like probably we said after filming that scene, that was like our favorite scene that we had shot together. It felt so intimate, it felt so vulnerable. It felt like the first time that we were as characters kind of both putting ourselves out there. Um, we weren't mad at each other, we weren't yelling at each other. We were just kind of two people putting ourselves out there. And then when you see Gibbs say, I think I'm done. Oh, the heartbreak for Lala is just kind of soul crushing.
What would you say was the most meaningful scene for Lala, like solo this season? Like for who she is professionally?
Any of the scenes with Twitchy Tony in episode 8, um, I think when he comes to her apartment and tells her that, I mean, just thinking about it, it makes me emotional, tells her that she needs to fight, that it's like the last round before the last bell, and he gives her this clock to tell her that he's in her corner. I mean, that was super meaningful. It was such a beautifully written episode by Gina. I loved getting to explore like what it took for her to go back to the office and not give up. And then episode 15 for Lala, I mean, all of those scenes really challenged me. Our director, Anthony Hemingway, was incredible at really pushing me and keeping the stakes up the entire episode, which really made it feel like this mini movie. I mean, that scene with Vera and Gibbs in the dark room when, she's admitting that she loves Manny. And you can see that she's so blinded by her love that she's forgetting where the line is, and the lines are so blurred between justice and doing the right thing, and that standoff that Gibbs and Lala have, where they're just like, she sees how hypocritical he's being because of what he's gone through to avenge his wife and daughter, and yet, he continues to try and push the limits with Lala, and she's just like so fed up. So that was really important for me.
So, what are your hopes for season 3 for Lala and for Lala and Gibbs? Like, what do you think that happy ending looks like for them for now?
I mean, I'm hoping that they at least get to explore what it's like to maybe have fun. You know? Like, can we just live in a place where they're like two teenagers just kind of like making out in a car? I don't know, and keeping it a secret. Like that sounds really fun for me and for Lala and for Gibbs. I think we could use a little escapism, not just as an audience, but Lala can and Gibbs can. I know that, there's a reason that there was a rule, never get involved with a coworker. So I'm sure we're gonna have to explore that. But in the meantime, it'd be nice to just have fun and see them like what is that dynamic like? What is the dynamic like where there's two people that can't keep their hands off each other? And have to keep a secret because I'm sure Franks will not be happy to know that something is going on. And in terms for Lala, I'm really hoping that we get to explore her backstory, more of what made her want to become a Marine. What's the relationship like with her mother, her father? Why haven't we seen them? Um, yeah, a little bit of that. I think there's an edge to Lala. And there is a reason that she enlisted and became like a regimented person, but I think that that's not true for her past. I think there's a darker past. So I'm excited to explore that.
And what's your theory about what happens to Lala and where she is in the present?
Oh my God. There's only a couple outcomes that I see that could be realistic. And I've talked about this, but I think there's a possibility that there was some sort of betrayal on either Gibbs' end or Lala's, which would account for the fact that they have never spoken to each other. Um, And I also think there's potential for, a very tragic ending. And that could be the reason that they've never talked, or that, sorry, that Gibbs has never talked about Lala. Um, I think something definitely has to happen that is pretty pivotal in both their lives for this story about her, right? I mean, it can't just be that they fell out of touch.
Very true. But I mean, I would love to see it just show up in Alaska. That would be a great surprise at the end of an episode, I have to
I
say.
know. I know. I think you and a lot of people, and me, myself included, like, I think that would be a very beautiful romantic ending to the saga of Gibbs. But I mean, we'll have to tune in. I don't know.
Do you have any dream casting, or would you want to don some old makeup, only
I
makeup like
mean,
we saw with Bobby and
I would
Leon?
love to have, some incredible special effects aging because I mean, how fun would that be? Also, selfishly, I would love to act with Mark Harmon because it's Mark Harmon. Um, but oh man, I have to think about that one. I don't know. I don't know. If you think of anyone, let me know.